first topic I'm going to talk about is that Matrix 5 is officially in the works with Drew Garner as the writer/director. I think this is exciting news. Like, I love the choice of who's going to direct it, and I love the fact that Warner Brothers put out a statement saying he came to them with the idea that he loves the franchise, he loves what the original directors created, that he's a fan of the franchise, and it just sounds like this is a movie he's very passionate about. Which, as a fan of the original movie, that's great to hear. Now, whether this movie is going to be a reboot, sequel, prequel, remake, wequel, it doesn't make it clear in an article. Personally, for me, if I had to pick what they should go with, I would say reboot in the franchise. No offense to anybody who enjoyed or loved the Matrix sequels, but I thought they were all terrible. I didn't like Reloaded. I wasn't a fan of Revolutions. I didn't like Wes West, and they were all, in my opinion, crap. But I love the original movie. The original Matrix movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. That original movie to me had a great story, had great characters, had a great accent, great lore, and I just was not a fan of where they took the direction story-wise and the sequels and the characters. And also, another thing is that the original actors are getting older. I mean, even when you watch Resurrections, it was a little hard to buy at times that of them being able to pull up the ass, and the ass didn't really look as good in my opinion in the fourth movie, and it was a lot of rehashing stuff and the whole meta thing. And the second movie just got reloaded, tried to do a deconstructing their own lore, which I don't think was the right direction to go in that franchise. And it just overall, I just was not a fan of I just wasn't a fan of any of the sequels. And I know there's fans out there that did enjoy a lot of those sequels, but they were all disappointments personally for me. But I think doing a reboot makes sense because of the fact the original cast is getting older, and the fact that I think you need to bring somebody in with a new, fresh perspective. To me, if you're going to do a Matrix movie, give me something different and new. Don't give me a rehash. Don't go on these weird, ridiculous directions that the original directors went into with the second and third movie. Like, give me something give me a director who can come on and go okay, I have a really cool idea and a new way to look at the franchise. Because I would love to come out of a Matrix movie going oh, that's a great movie like the original. And when it comes to not bringing back the original directors, I know some fans be well, you got to keep the original creators. Here's the thing with that for me. They gave me one great Matrix movie that was no directors. And then they gave me 3 sequels which I thought sucked. So personally for me, I don't really want to see the original directors near this franchise ever again. Their track record, in my opinion, was not very good with this franchise. They directed the first movie, which is great. And then they directed the 2 sequels, and then you had one of the directors come back for the fourth one, not both of them. But the sequels, I just don't think were very good. So I personally am happy to see a new director in the franchise. And I also think that sometimes, I notice this for franchise sometimes, I think sometimes we need to bring in a new voice. You need to bring in a new director. I give the Harry Potter film series is a great example of this for me personally. David Yates, he's a great director. He directed 4 or 5 of the Harry Potter movies towards the end of the franchise, and then he came back and directed the 3 Fantastic Beasts movies. And yeah, those weren't Harry Potter movies specifically about those specific characters, but they were connected to the Harry Potter franchise. And for me personally, I felt in those movies, they felt more like movies that were kind of done by with a director that kind of got tired out of the franchise. X-Men movies are a great example of this too. I don't like Bryan Singer, but he directed 4 X-Men movies, and when he directed Apocalypse, which was the last X-Men movie that he directed, you could tell it just felt like okay, he was out of ideas for the franchise, and it didn't feel like the same passion they had in that movie compared to the first 2 originals and Days of Future Past. So I think sometimes the director can stay on a franchise, or directors can stay on a franchise for too long, and you need to bring somebody in who can bring a new voice to the franchise. Because I think with the Matrix franchise, there's a lot of great lore in that first movie. But I think you need a better director that can honor that original movie while at the same time bring something new and fresh to the franchise. So personally for me, I didn't think I would be excited for a new Matrix movie And I still am a little worried with how bad the 3 sequels were. But the thing where I'm not worried is because you have a new director now. And if they go to reboot route, which I really hope they do, they just reboot and start over, then that would make me even more excited because, okay, we can like tell a new story. We can focus on new characters. And the work of this director, you know, he directed one movie that I love, 3 movies he wrote that I love, and he directed his second movie, which was Bad Times at EOI, which I thought was a fun movie. So his like track record, writing and directing wise, is pretty great film wise for me so far. The next thing I'm going to talk about is that Julia Garner has been cast as a Silver Surfer. Now, let me say this, because I know some people are going to read the article and say they're Jenna shopping. Here's the thing. If you read the article, it says she's going to play the wife of Norman Rad in the comics. Norman Rad is the Silver Surfer in the comics, but Silver Surfer's backstory in the comics, and you've watched the Silver Surfer animated series that lasted a season, was that he became the hero of Glasses because Glasses was going to spare his planet and his wife. So they aren't Jenna swapping the character. It's just they're saying in this story his wife is going to become the Silver Surfer. Now, do I personally, am I excited about the idea? No. This is like, I'm excited for the Fantastic Four reboot. I love the casting they have so far. I love the director choice that who's doing it. But this is the first thing where I'm like, I would prefer if you just had Norman Rad become the Silver Surfer like he does in the comics and not focus on the Silver Surfer's wife and change it where she becomes the Silver Surfer instead. But I just wanted to say that, you know, they aren't Jenna Sharp in the character. This is not the Norman Rad character they're going to focus on. But I am, you know, I don't know. I don't necessarily, like, I'm not really excited for that idea, though. Now, again, you know, with comic book movies, I don't need everything to be like comics. I also understand the fact that you had a Norman Rad version of Silver Surfer in the second Fox Fantastic Four movie. So I can understand maybe them two wanting to do something different, because with this Fantastic Four reboot, you know, you gotta make it feel different from the previous movies, because we had 4 movies, counting the one that wasn't released in theaters. And you had Silver Surfer in one of them already, so I understand them wanting to go a different direction. And even though it's not the direction that I would like them to go in, I would prefer if they focus on the Norman Rad character, not on the character's wife in the comics, and having her become the Silver Surfer instead. But the idea could end up being really good. I always say this: it comes down to execution. When a movie comes out and I watch the movie, I go like, you know what? They gave it, you know, it worked for me in the movie. You know, she was a compelling character, and that's the thing for me. You know, all I care about is a good, great movie. Give me a great story and great characters. That's all I care about. So, you know, this is, I'm mixed feelings about this decision, the dressing and going with this Silver Surfer for this new movie. But I'm going to keep it on mind and just wait till I see the movie and see how it turns out. Now, I can't really judge the actress whether she's right for the role, because I don't know much about the character in the comics when it comes to Silver Surfer's wife. Like, I'm not too familiar with that character. And I'm not familiar with this actress when it comes to her work, so I can't really say whether I think she's a great choice for the character or whether she's a great actress personally. But, you know, I'll say this, they're definitely going in a different direction. Whether it works or not, we'll see. The next thing I want to talk about is Kingdom Planet of the Apes, new movie coming out. The tracking for it is saying it's going to open Sissy to Plus. Which I think this would be great, because I think a lot of people are excited for the Planet of the Apes movies, and I think this will continue the box office trend that's kind of the box office is starting to go in this month now. Like I keep saying in my past videos, the first 2 months were pretty slow. I think this month going forward, you have some movies that are coming out that people are excited about. And I'm really excited for the new Planet of the Apes movie. Like, I love the previous Planet of the Apes trilogy. I think the trailers have been great for the new one. And I think it could open bigger. It says Sissy Plus tracking wise, so you still have time to market the movie. I could see the tracking going up because of marketing, and if it gets like a good word of mouth when it comes out. But I could definitely see it making Sissy or more, depending on, you know, how the marketing goes from this point on, and how the movie is received when it comes out. But I think this is a great tracking for this right now for this movie, and it's a movie I can't wait for this new Planet Apes movie. Definitely excited to see it. The last thing is that the trailer for the Joker sequel is going to be coming out next week, debuting at CinemaCon, I heard. Which I can't wait to see the trailer for this movie, because the Joker sequel and Deadpool 3 are my most anticipated comic movies of the year. I think Joker 2, like, I love the first Joker movie. I'm excited to see, based on the test screenings, like, how different it's going to be. Because obviously with the musical elements and Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, they're definitely going for a different, from what it sounds like the director, they want to make a different movie. They don't want to just make the same movie as the first Joker movie. So I'm definitely curious, like, what style and tone's going to be for this new Joker sequel. If it's gonna, I mean, from what I saw the test screen, it sounds like it's gonna keep that dark vibe of the first movie. But I'm definitely curious to see how they're gonna put in the musical elements in the sequel. But I'm really excited for the Joker sequel. Definitely excited to see the trailer for it next week. So that's all the movie news today. Until next time, movie fans.